Hi guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles, the channel where we dissect any airing anime of the season, and we have things like What's in a Design, where we look at anime characters and break them down via colour, meaning, and anything that they may help us reflect what's going to happen within the story. I am Clockwork Noodles, hello and welcome. If you like what we're doing here, we've got quite a few different things coming your way, some fun videos coming this way as well. Make sure you guys give this channel a subscribe. You can head over to our Discord channel where you can basically get a notification whenever a video goes up on a channel, ensuring that you don't miss any of the fun and the things that I am working on day by day. Let's continue with Dr. Stone, and we are in Stone Wars. This is season 2, episode 3. We have a call from the dead today, and we have quite a nice, actual, quite touching episode. Obviously, I've been quite negative on the idea that he's come up with, and I'm not so convinced it's going to go as smoothly as he seems to be thinking it might be. And this week technically did kind of go along with my idea that it's not going to go as smooth as we think, but we get to see how we handle it. And we're going to start in Camp Tsukasa. It's quite ironic to see the difference between the two camps. So we've been spending quite a bit of time within Camp Science, where we've seen them eating Senku's own ramen brand, everything like that. Here, it looks more like what you would represent with the Stone Age. If you ever think the Stone Age, you think a load of people eating meat off the bone around a fire, hopefully showing you the two differences between the two camps and what science can actually do. And we are following Yuziju, so we decided to call them Yuziju. This week we're following these two as they are being followed by a certain character. Tsukasa has these guys under lock and key. He's keeping a guard on them 24/7. Rightly so, you would, because these guys here don't really buy into your ideology. They're aware of what might be rising up against him. We do get to see those nice moments that led up to that tear-jerking ending last week. Taiju finally picks up the phone and we hear Senku over the phone for the first time in what actually turned out to be a year. So the sequences of the first season and now, it's been a year since these characters all heard each other, all were able to kind of see each other. Obviously 1 year compared to 3,700 is nothing in the grand scheme of things, but it is quite nice to see that moment. This moment, which was quite touching last week, obviously we saw them crying, overhearing each other. This time we've got a bit of a dangerous element going on. So our guard, who turns out to be a character called Nikki is following these guys and again monitoring them, just checking that they're not meeting up with anybody or arranging anything illicit. But it turns out that Nikki was actually there whilst they were talking to Senku over the phone. And I was really worried that she maybe overheard Senku on the phone and was like kind of suspicious. But it does turn out that she doesn't quite hear from the distance that she's at. I guess if they had actually had Ukyo there, the guy who has great hearing, it might have been a different story. However, it's not quite the same, where I think she must just be out of reach to hear what is being said over the phone. But it is such a touching moment where Taiju is so lost for words, he declares, "I am Senku" to the world. No, Senku is Senku. But absolutely love it. So we now have today's episode where we deal with how are we going to deal with this eavesdropping guard, and Senku seems to have a plan. Senku's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to get this plan underway already. Senku's plan is to drag somebody from Tsukasa's army to the phone and put his plan into action. And I do love that before they get going, Taiju has to ask one simple question. Is this the best way to avoid bloodshed? Because that is the one thing that he is thinking of. And I really like that. So at the same time, him being around Tsukasa's army, there are still people, there are still individuals within this army. He must as well not be wanting to get these guys hurt. So he probably doesn't want to see the people he's been living with for a year get hurt. Now, the question is, where is Team Gen? Now, last week we saw them being chased off by our boy Ukyo, the ears of Tsukasa's army. Reunite with Team Gen, who are whilst they're hiding in the bush, they are making tons and tons of noise thanks to magma. Nobody from the village seems to understand the idea of silence. Well, let's go and have a look at Ukyo quickly, because Ukyo has lured them into a bit of a trap. He is indeed a sharpshooter. He is probably the equivalent of a sniper within the stone world. We mentioned last week he wears a very yellow colour. Yellow is a very hopeful, childish, carefree, great colour, great positive colour to have on you. Can be a little bit on the immature side as a negative, but I'm looking forward to hopefully getting Ukyo to our side, maybe, unless he is very loyal to his friend Tsukasa. We will find out. The eyes are bluey turquoise, which is again the calm, calculated character aspects of him, and we can see he's very calm, he's very calculated, he's managing his bow very, very nicely. He's managed to lure these guys into a trap, so he is very calculated. We need to get Gen back to start the operation, to start converting people from the other side. Thankfully, Yuzuju doesn't get anybody ahead of schedule. Can you imagine that if they had got somebody ahead and gone, hey, where is Lillian? And Gen wasn't there. A few things do thankfully go within their favour, where we get to see some more of Magma's very dark humour, where he wants to use Chrome as a shield to locate exactly where Ukyo is, which is funny, but that is that darker side to Magma. He is our slightly darker character. Like I said last week, there's only like a thin barrier stopping Magma becoming Tsukasa. Oh my god, this has to. You guys, I don't care if it isn't. Magma is a All Might fan from My Hero Academia. It's just this next moment, especially the fact that he's also a blonde character as well, where he just kind of visualizes going, smash you! And I'm like, oh my god, it's All Might. I love it. I love it so much. I really like that little nods. Even if it isn't supposed to be a My Hero reference or an Easter egg, it's great because that's what my mind took me to. That's immediately what I thought of when I saw it. All Magma needs now is a bit more of those like bangs going over his face and some messed up hair, and we've got All Might. But yeah, nobody from the village understands the idea of being the hell quiet, shutting up. Everybody is so damn loud. Where Chrome ends up being our big brain this time, and he actually has a spare battery, which makes me worry. It's like, shouldn't Yuzuju have the spare battery? They needed that battery, right? They needed a spare. So I'm a bit concerned by the fact that they haven't got it, but it's great that he has got it because he's able to cause an explosion and use the smoke as a decoy. Again, is able to get away without causing any scenes. Ukyo is more and more focused on Magma and Chrome dancing around in the smoke. But that does make us question, are our boys okay? Are Magma and Chrome okay? Because they are left behind. Now let's get to the plan rolling. So we have our eavesdropping guard, Nikki, who is the first approached by Yuzuju to be the first to hear the phone call. But I really do, like I said, I really have doubts about this plan. Having a guard on your side would make things a lot easier because obviously the guard's got to go back to Tsukasa and be like, yeah, they didn't get up to anything weird today and report back. She could basically just be like, yeah, I didn't see anything. They didn't do anything weird today. And they could basically convert half the army without him even being aware of it. Gen makes it thankfully in time, and we are now introduced to Nikki. Our new character, Nikki, has got some blonde hair. Within anime, especially when it comes to anime and blonde characters tend to be naturally beautiful with no fear. This is a character definitely got no fear. And they also have high principles, so nothing will change their minds once they have a goal in mind. They are also very sensitive, can be very easily sad, and it's also very hard of the blonde character generally to come out of their depression. We do get to see a very sensitive side to Nikki this week, and a lot of that, I think, plays nicely into the character meaning. And she has got green eyes. Green eyes are a very fresh colour. They are a rebirth, a renewal, a rebirth within the stone world, or is it going to be a rebirth into the world of science, hopefully? The darker kind of side to green is green eyes can be very deceitful. And well, are you going to be deceitful to Tsukasa by any chance? Because that works in our favour. Initially, Nikki doesn't want to hear a thing that Yukiju has to say, and she ends up beating quite brutally. Taiju gets smacked in the face repeatedly because she doesn't want to hear anything, and he keeps talking. But eventually, she is dragged over to the receiver on the other end, and Lillian Gen, who really is an amazing actor, is scarily good, with our boy Senku as the best translator ever, start to get their plan underway. The USA is back from the stone world. However, this is kind of thrown under the bus as soon as we actually happen to have a superfan on our hands. Nikki is perhaps one of the biggest superfans for Lillian. She is such a huge fan. She even admits that if she finds out that whoever is making up this voice, if it isn't Lillian, she's going to kill them. She's literally going to kill poor Gen. So I really hope that Gen doesn't meet her face to face at any point. We get some nice backstory now. So Nikki is given a backstory who was bullied for having more masculine features. So she has quite a big build to her. So probably the bigger shoulders, a broader kind of gauge there, where she was bullied for it at school. But she is actually moved to hear Lillian and would do absolutely anything for Lillian. But this becomes very, very risky because the superfan isn't stupid. She's going to start asking some questions and she wants answers. And of course, you do not underestimate a superfan. She starts to ask questions, and the first question being just simply how many CDs did you sell? Senku actually picks to answer correctly. So Gen starts to go, we could basically be like, oh, I don't know, or we could bluff it, or I missed my memory. We could basically try sliding our way out. I don't think she's going to be overly impressed either or way, but Senku does try and answer correctly, where he tries to make an educated guess, working out how much a seat on the spaceship would have cost, how much money she might have had, working out how many different kind of cells she might have played. However, whilst he is doing this, the only thing going through my head was, you're taking an awfully long time to work out an answer that this fan is actually probably expecting you to know off the bat. If you were Lillian, you would probably know off the bat. So the fact that they're taking such a long time and delaying giving her an answer just seems really suspicious to me anyway. So Nikki, even if Lillian again sounded 100% correct and didn't sound a bit wonky, as she says, you don't sound quite right, I still think she would have been right to be suspicious because of how long it takes to answer the question, where he comes up with a rough estimate of 60 million copies, which does sound legit. But then we go into, what are your 3 sizes, which you're asking a science nerd who we actually saw a picture very briefly of her on his phone. He saw him once, and this is a science nerd who probably doesn't really care for that kind of science, working out the science of how big a girl is. And he gets it wrong. He actually just gets it out wrong. To be fair, she probably does Photoshop her pictures, so the fans probably do see a different version of Lillian, but it does kind of backfire. Nikki, the super hardcore fan, is definitely not convinced, and she knows that something is wrong. Our plan is not off to a good start. But thank God that they had that CD recording, as you can't beat the real thing. The superfan background with her actually being a young child, seeing Lillian and being inspired, I like it. I really like the backstory they've given, because it's actually quite touching the way they've done it. Seeing somebody on stage telling you that, you can do it, you'll be beautiful kind of thing. I like it. I really like the backstory that we've been given. And it's also nice that Dr. Stone has given us a backstory for a slightly minor character. Obviously, she's going to have a bit more of a role this season, because obviously, thanks to her helping us and her being our first actual ally, things are hopefully going to go a bit more smoother with having somebody more on your side from the other side. I like it. I really appreciate the effort they've given us a bit of a story. Irony that she actually happens to know Lillian. She does realise the truth. She even comes to the terms like, Lillian is gone. It's like she's not coming back. But she is really, really grateful to hear her voice once again. And you can imagine it. 3,700 years, you've been isolated. You've not heard any music. You come back into a world that doesn't represent your own world. But imagine hearing a song that was so familiar to you, something that means so much to you after all that time. How the hell would you feel? I don't even know how to begin. You'd be speechless, absolutely speechless. It's nice. I like the idea of showing her a song, because music really is universal. Music can stretch across language barriers. It can stretch across anything. And apparently music can stretch across time. And I really like this little detail they've put in. Senku promises that he can't bring her music back, but he will protect this one song. I will protect this one song for you. And I like that. You're awkward. I might just fall in love with you. I really like that. Could you imagine Nikki falling for Senku? And I like the fact that Senku's like, no, please don't. Please don't. I like it. I really do. And I'm sorry, this has to be, guys. This has to be an Attack on Titan, like, Easter egg. Nikki salutes. She does the scout salute with her hand over her heart kind of thing. Yeah, sure, it probably isn't an Easter egg, and I'm just looking for different animes, but I like it, and it made me happy to see it. We see more green in her design. I like this reveal where she rips off her cape, and we have that green on show. Now, I told you green is a sign of rebirth and renewal. It is also deceit. We are now going to be deceiving Tsukasa. Rebirth, renewal. She's now turning over to the side of science. Next week's episode is called Full Assault, a very ominous next week title. I'm very excited to see where we go. I am really enjoying Dr. Stone. I've missed it so much, and I'm starting to get back into the swing of things. I'm very curious to see how this plan's going to go. Let's see how they go trying to convert the rest of the army, because I don't think there's going to be too many super hardcore fans within this army. Let's see where we go. I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are enjoying the second season of Dr. Stone. Make sure you guys are taking care. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. You guys are making this for me. Having quite a bumpy start for January. A few bits of bad luck going on. But you guys are making it worth it. So thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye.